So right now, Kasia, we can see this big swath of rain moving throughout northern Ontario. Earlier rainfall warnings were in place, but Ontario, not the only place seeing the active weather.
No, absolutely not. Rachel, we do have some severe thunderstorm watches in place. That is in Saskatchewan, or in Alberta, rather, along the foothills. But first, a look at the rainfall warning that continues to be in effect. Some places picking up over 50 millimeters of rain in northern Ontario. All right, so here's how much rain that we are expecting throughout southern Ontario. Again, your heaviest band of rain, northern regions just south of Timmins and north of Sudbury. Here's a look at the line of thunder showers that we are watching across Saskatchewan. Some people are receiving heavier rain than others. Thunder showers closer to the international border, and we're expecting this to ramp back up throughout the province as well. But temperatures are a little bit cooler, so we're not expecting anything too severe throughout Saskatchewan. A little bit different for you along the foothills. We do have the potential, the risk of seeing some large hail, the production of that, very strong winds and heavy downpours, and that does include the city of Calgary through this evening. We do have a trough of instability there, with other areas also seeing the risk of non-severe thunder showers. More on this coming up.
Go to the west. So Kasia, another unsettled long weekend in Ontario, and I know now you've got the story throughout the prairies.
I know, it's so sad for those, especially counting on great weather for the long weekend. Yeah, we're seeing some lines of thunder showers also for you in Saskatchewan. It's ramping up closer to the international border. Right now, it's actually more so heavy rain, and we do have some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in effect for you in Alberta. We'll get to that story right away. So here's a look at the areas that are expected to see some non-severe thunder showers, areas marked in yellow. But again, it's closer to the Calgary region and north in the foothills that we do have a severe thunderstorm watch in place. Warnings, however, are through Clearwater and Red Deer, closer to Spruce View and Sylvan Lake. That's where we do have a number of cells that we're watching that could be producing some large hail, producing very strong winds and heavy downpours. So just a heads up. On your Sunday, areas marked in yellow, it's a larger swath of area that could be affected by pop-up thunder showers, but not everybody's going to be seeing it. More on the active weather today coming up. All right, great demo for Mark there. And the skies, they look pretty ominous in the background there. Meanwhile, skies are looking a little on the gray side for you in southern Saskatchewan, southeastern portions picking up the heaviest amounts of rain right now, and it should be continuing through the evening and the overnight. Some of us also seeing the showers in southern portions of Manitoba. But what we're actually concerned about are a few storm cells within Alberta. And let me zoom in a little bit tighter. They're quite small, but they are warned. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for areas close to Clearwater County as well as Red Deer County, and these are the cells. So just a little north of Olds there's a cell, the last frame. That's where the thunderstorms are right now. So where you're seeing the deeper reds and the orange and the yellows there, those are your heavy downpours and the potential for some hail. So areas marked in yellow here, you are under a severe thunderstorm watch. This issued by Environment Canada. You have the right ingredients in place, and essentially we have upsloping going on. We do have a lot of instability in the region, not necessarily the hot temperatures. I mean, we're slightly below seasonal, but the ingredients are certainly there for those pop-up thunder showers through this evening. So we're expecting that still throughout the next few hours. Areas marked in yellow here, you do have a risk of non-severe thunder showers as well if you're closer to the Saskatchewan border, as well through the interior of BC. We are seeing plenty of lightning strikes, actually, so a lot of pop-up thunder showers there with that same trough of instability. Tomorrow, also a possibility of thunder showers, and when we come back, we'll break down what's happening right now across the country.
Go to the weather. Kasia Bodurka, what's going on with you?
All right. Thanks so much, Margot. Well, you saw there in the background also that we had overcast conditions there in Regina, and that's actually helping to cap the possibility of severe thunderstorms through this area. Initially, when we were looking at these thunderstorms or these, this active weather there, we thought it could be potentially severe. It may not be now, after all, because of the cloud cover. What we are concerned about is Alberta. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings in place, meaning it's imminent. It's happening now for counties of Clearwater, Red Deer, as well as Lethbridge, county of Lethbridge, and the county of Warner near Raymond. So it's happening now. It could be producing some hail, dime to nickel-sized hail, also some heavy downpours and some strong winds. So areas to the north here, as well a number of thunderstorms that we are watching down here. More on this coming up.
For today, Kasia, with that warm and humid air and the cold front making its way through, this is where we could be seeing those storms. And I know you have the same situation in place as well throughout the prairies.
Yeah, that's right. We're seeing some heavy rain throughout parts of Saskatchewan, but what we're more so concerned about are a few pop-up thunder showers that are making their way across central portions of Alberta. Some of our severe thunderstorm warnings have dropped through the south, closer to Lethbridge, but we still do have a severe thunderstorm warning for these cells a little bit there you go, closer to the Olds region. So this is the Red Deer County as well. Oh, actually, it's further to the in between Calgary and Lethbridge that I should mention. Sorry about that. So it's the Red Deer County near Penhold, Innisfail, Highway 22 near Clearwater County near Caroline. Those cells are producing some hail the size of dimes, the size of nickels, heavy downpours, as well as potentially damaging winds. So if you do live in any of those regions, it's happening now. It's imminent. Whereas areas marked in yellow, you do have a severe thunderstorm watch in place, and this means that you do have the right ingredients in place, and you could potentially see these thunderstorms later. More on this coming up.
For more on our forecast.
All right. Thanks so much, Margot. Yeah, you can see there are some showers, especially heavier showers south of Regina. But it looks like because of all the cloud cover in Regina, we may not get anything too severe. No severe thunderstorm watches or warnings in place there. What we're more so concerned about is Alberta. Areas closer to Olds, a little bit north of that through Red Deer County, not too far from Innisfail along Highway 22. That particular storm cell, it's traveling at about 20K. It could be producing dime to nickel-sized hail, very heavy downpours, and very damaging winds as well. So just a heads up, if you're in any of these areas, there's a severe thunderstorm warning in place. South of Calgary, if you draw a line between Calgary and Lethbridge, there are some thunderstorms there, but they're not necessarily as severe. More on this active weather coming up.
Stay tuned.
And plenty of rain to northern Ontario. Now taking a look at the system to the north. It is linked to the system to the south as well. We're watching a thick band of heavy rain making its way to the Bracebridge area as well. And heavy rain between Sudbury and North Bay as well. That's been moving through the region pretty much all day. And because of that, we're picking up close to 50 millimeters of rain in some places. So we do have a rainfall warning in effect for much of northern Ontario. Doesn't include Timmins, but Timmins, you're very close to that region. Chapleau, Sudbury, Elliott Lake, Manitoulin. Happy long weekend to you. Not necessarily the ideal one weather-wise for areas in northern Ontario and closer to cottage country. Kasia Bodurka with you here with a look at some severe thunderstorms that are right now being warned by Environment Canada. This particular cell, not too far from Barrie, has us under a severe thunderstorm warning that includes Barrie, Collingwood, Hillsdale. This could be producing dime to ping-pong-sized hail, very strong, potentially damaging winds, and then very heavy downpours. Now, another line of thunderstorms that we are watching is this one making its way over Lake Huron. Now, stateside, Michigan, there were actually tornado warnings as a result of that. So we're hoping that as it moves over the Great Lakes, over Lake Huron, that it will moderate out. That typically does happen over the lakes. Now, taking a look at your severe thunderstorm watch that is in place. And some of these have been in place for a long time. Others have just been added. Waterloo now into this warning, as well as the Algonquin region, Peterborough as well. We have, again, Barrie, Aurelia, Grey Bruce County, Haliburton, Huron, Perth. So areas marked in yellow, essentially all of these regions, you do have the risk of seeing some potentially severe thunderstorms also later into the day, and that's as a result of that line of thunderstorms that I showed you stateside. Now, having a look at this afternoon into the evening hours, we're looking at potentially severe, more isolated severe weather closer to the Grey Bruce area and the shores of Lake Huron. Everybody else, more non-severe thunder showers. We do have very humid weather on tap. I know you know it's hot. You feel it. Is it hot enough out there for you? Well, that coupled with a cold front that's making its way through the region could certainly spark up those thunder showers. So just a heads up. Now, if you're in the GTA, closer to the Toronto region, it's more so nocturnal thunder showers that we're expecting for this region. So you shouldn't be too bad for some time, though it is overcast already. To the north, we have some pretty heavy rain showers just east of North Bay now. The last frame, that's where the rain is at right now. So this is over the past while that we've been watching. We do have some rainfall warnings in effect for northern Ontario, some places picking up close to 50 millimeters of rain, according to Environment Canada. Now, our meteorologists are targeting this region just south of Timmins, north of Sudbury, 30 to 45 mils of rain. We would love it if you would keep in touch with us because we are seeing some pretty intense weather in some places. Please tweet me at Kasia, TWN. I'll also follow us at the Weather Network because, well, if you're not following us already, we're really good place to follow because we keep you updated constantly. Meanwhile, active weather in the prairies as well. South of Regina, some pretty heavy rainfall. That's actually traveling northeast. So Regina, you may dodge the heaviest rain. And we do have some severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in effect for you in Alberta. I'll have that. Go to the school bus. Yeah, we're going to be talking about back to school as well. Kasia Bodurka with you here. First, taking a look at the showers that are happening in southern Saskatchewan right now. The good news with this line of thunderstorms is that they're not actually becoming severe because we have a lot of cloud cover and temperatures aren't hot enough to create severe thunder showers. So it's more so a heavy rainfall story through Saskatchewan. Now for you in Alberta, it's a little bit of a different story. We have been seeing some severe thunderstorms anywhere from Calgary all the way down through to Lethbridge. This area right here. Now these are breaking up a little bit, so that's good news. The warnings have dropped. However, we still do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place for areas close to Innisfail, Highway 22, seeing the very heavy downpours, the strong winds, and then the potential for hail is certainly there as well. And of course, hail is also very damaging and it could injure a lot of folks out there too. So you want to put your cars away as well and just stay safe. Be inside if you're seeing any ominous skies come towards you. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in place. It has been in place for some time, issued by Environment Canada. Now, it has been extending to include Lethbridge and areas to the east of that. This basically means that you do have the right ingredients in place to see those severe thunderstorms. Just a heads up there. We have some upsloping going on, and you can also thank an upper level trough that's creating a lot of instability. And temperatures, by the way, they're not hot enough, to create your typical low pressure system thunderstorms. It's just another feature that we're watching. Also, if you are in Saskatchewan, we do have a potential for non-severe thunder showers, and the risk is there for you also in interior portions of BC. We're also watching some pretty active weather in southern Ontario and northern regions of Ontario as well. This particular storm cell making its way over Georgian Bay. It's pretty intense. It's capable of producing dime to ping pong sized hail, the damaging winds, the thunder, the lightning, you name it. And then these thunderstorms here stateside, they were actually drawing tornado warnings earlier today. Now, here's a look at your severe thunderstorm watches that are in place in southern Ontario. It's quite vast. We'll be getting into these details a little bit more throughout the show. Don't go anywhere. Some of your outdoor activities may be a washout, unfortunately. Right around the dinner hour, too, barbecues washed out, especially closer to the Barrie-Collingwood area, where we do have a severe thunderstorm warning in place. Warning meaning it's imminent, it's happening now. But you will note the one cell that we are watching is moving over the water, actually. So, Barrie, you may not be as impacted as initially thought. It's more so Stayner that just had the severe thunderstorm. It's capable of producing dime to ping pong sized hail, damaging winds, and those really heavy downpours. Now, it's not over yet, really. We still do have the cold front that's approaching. And right now, it's just making its way over Lake Huron. And that, by the way, those lines of thunderstorms there, that was actually, it prompted a tornado warning stateside in Michigan earlier today, which has been dropped. Now, our watches and warnings, have a look at what's in effect right now. Areas marked, highlighted in yellow here. You're all under severe thunderstorm watch. This is for later this evening. We're thinking anytime between 7 and 9 p.m. they could be sparking back up. Now, we'd love to see your photos and videos, only if it's safe to do so, because there's active weather to the north. We have rainfall warnings in northern Ontario as well. Tweet me at Kasia, TWN, and also keep in touch at Weather Network. It's a good organization to follow. We're great to follow because we'll keep you updated on these watches and warnings constantly, so quickly. Meanwhile, to the north of Ontario, some heavy bands of rain. No severe thunderstorm watches and warnings up here, but your rainfall warning is in effect. We're talking about close to 50 millimeters of rain for some. Yeah, a washout, really. Meanwhile, across the prairie provinces, heavy rain in southern Saskatchewan. Flood. They couldn't keep driving on the roads yesterday. It was just that bad in some areas. Now, Manitoba, by the way, Winnipeg, a high of 21 now. We've got a mix of sun and clouds, and you're lucky because other areas to the south and east of Saskatchewan, another low pressure system. This is just heavy rain, though. We're not looking at anything severe, thunderstorms or anything, because we do have a lot of cloud cover and temperatures are a little bit cooler because of that initial cold front. Meanwhile, for you in Alberta, it's a little bit more severe. We are watching one particular storm cell just north of Olds. You can see, voila, this is along Highway 22, close to Innisfail, Red Deer County. We do have this severe thunderstorm going on. It's a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place, and that means it's imminent. It's happening now. It could be producing dime to nickel-sized hail, very strong winds, and then those heavy, heavy downpours like you saw in that video. But we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in place. So the difference is the warning is it's happening now. It's at your doorstep, like that cell I was showing you. But here we do have the risk, the potential for more thunderstorms to pop up throughout the evening because we just have the right favorable ingredients in place. So it does include now Lethbridge and any areas to the east of that. It includes the city of Calgary. So that could be popping up through the evening because we do have upsloping going on. It's creating that cloud cover, the active weather, that coupled with a trough of instability over the foothills. So this was produced by our meteorologists. Areas marked in yellow here, you do have the potential for some thunder showers. Meanwhile, if you're seeing any of this activity, we would love to see it, right? It's one thing to talk about it, but it's another thing to see the videos and the photos. So tweet me at Kasia, TWN. Use the hashtag, by the way, AB Storm and ON Storm, right? If you, depending on where you are, right? Because we do have some pretty severe weather happening in Ontario as well. And here we go. So this particular cell right over Georgian Bay, we've been watching that for some time as well. And we still do have some warnings in place for areas like Barrie and Collingwood, but that should be dissipating soon. What we're now concerned about is the cold front itself and areas just ahead of that. This line of thunderstorms along Lake Huron, well, that actually prompted tornado warning states.
For your quickest.
Happy long weekend to you. If you're concerned about the weather, you're in southern and northern Ontario, well, you came to the right place. Kasia Bodurka with you here with a look at current radar returns and where these thunderstorms are moving. They're moving quite quickly, actually, at about 40 km. There's a line of thunderstorms just north of Barrie that we continue to watch. Your latest frame, that's where the storm is at right now. But Barrie, Collingwood, Hillsdale still under a severe thunderstorm warning, meaning it's imminent. It's happening now. Tweet us if you're seeing any active weather and let us know what you're seeing if you're in any of these areas. Now, we also do have a line of thunderstorms that we're watching making its way over Lake Huron. And that's going to be bringing us some pretty active weather as well in the form of thunderstorms. You can also see some showers throughout southern and southwestern Ontario. So we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that's in place, areas marked in yellow. All of us could be seeing some severe weather later into the evening hours. I'm thinking between 8 and 10 p.m. It could get a little on the severe side with some heavy, downpours, lightning and thunder. All right, here is Mark Robinson. He is storm chasing right now.
Back inside you.
All right, thanks, Mark. Meanwhile, to the north, we do have some pretty heavy rain showers. That picked up by our radar returns here. And because of that, we do have rainfall warnings in effect. Could be picking up 50 millimeters of rain through these areas. Heavy rain south of Regina and also some pretty intense thunderstorms to the north of Olds, areas closer to Innisfail. Now under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, and watches look like this, meaning you have all the right ingredients in place for severe weather later into this evening. More on your active weather coming up. It all depends on where you are. So if you're in the Mountain View County near Olds, or if you are in Red Deer County near Innisfail, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings in place. All other warnings, by the way, they have dropped. And you can thank a particular thunderstorm. I'm actually going to show you in our next frame. Right now, I'll show you that we do have heavy rain just south of Regina. The rain has begun in Regina, not your heaviest portion yet, could still pick up. Now, meanwhile, okay, we're seeing some thunderstorms anywhere from Calgary down through to the Medicine Hat area. And actually, you're all under a severe thunderstorm watch. I'll show you that very shortly. Here's the one particular cell that we're watching, and that is forewarned. So it could be producing some hail, very strong winds, lightning, and lightning does kill 10 Canadians each year, so it's a potentially dangerous situation. Really what we have going on is an upper level trough. There's plenty of instability in the air, and then we have upsloping going on. We have northeasterlies just producing that air mass. So here you go. Here's a look at your severe thunderstorm watch areas. Everybody marked in yellow here. You do have that risk of severe weather into this evening, so just a heads up, some of us may have our barbecues, our events washed out, unfortunately, on this long weekend. So our meteorologists had actually produced this map earlier. They suggested that, all of these areas could be seeing active weather, also in eastern portions of Saskatchewan and then portions of the BC interior. And we have been seeing those thunder showers fire up. We've been seeing lots of lightning strikes through that area. Also seeing a lot of weather happening through Ontario. Now, just north of Georgian Bay, we're watching a cell there that's producing some very heavy downpours. And then our cold front, this could be causing some pretty severe weather later into the evening hours. And here's a look at that line of thunderstorms right now. It will be moving over the Great Lakes. Now, it's always a good thing. The lakes typically moderate out the weather, so it could be more severe stateside. But again, we do have severe thunderstorm watches in place, meaning we have all the ingredients in place. We want you to keep in touch with us via the internet and Twitter. And of course, we'll have more updates on this coming up. Time-lapse video, and we love it when you upload these kind of awesome videos to theweathernetwork.com. Kasia Bodurka with you here. We're watching a number of thunderstorms here that are warned, and we also do have severe thunderstorm watches in place. I'll show you that in just one moment. So areas to the north of Barrie, to the north of Georgian Bay already, that was a severe thunderstorm that we were watching. Barrie's still under a severe thunderstorm warning, but I'm guessing that's going to be dropped momentarily. We're seeing some thunder showers, some isolated scattered showers throughout southern and southwestern Ontario. But hang on, because the big show is actually coming later on, closer to the 8 p.m. hour, between 8 and 10. We're thinking that this cold front's going to be making its way through southern Ontario. And it could be bringing us some pretty severe weather. And by that, I mean, well, the possibility of hail. Very strong, damaging winds, very quick and heavy downpours, causing flash flooding. So these areas are under a severe thunderstorm watch. You all have that, the right ingredients in place to produce those thunderstorms once that cold front comes through. And by the way, I know some of you have been asking, will the cold front make it cooler? I'm afraid not by a whole lot. And because of that, we have the risk of active weather yet again tomorrow, but it's a lesser risk. So another hot day on tap. Not as hot as it was today, though. All right, so we're also watching a lot of rain showers to the north of us. We do have a rainfall warning in effect. This issued by Environment Canada. Some places picking up close to 50 millimeters of rain. So also localized flooding could be an issue for you in areas Chapleau all the way south down to Elliott Lake, Manitoulin Island. You're under that as well, all the way to the Nickel Belt. Now, for you in the prairie provinces, we initially thought, ooh, this could be really messy in Saskatchewan, but more cloud cover moved in. Temperatures have dropped a little bit, so it's just a heavy rainfall story for you. Not the case in Alberta. We're watching a storm cell, one particular right around Olds, just north of that, that could be producing some ping pong sized hail even and damaging winds. So areas in and around Red Deer County, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, meaning it's imminent, it's happening now, it's on your doorstep. But a watch means that it could be happening in the next few hours as well. So some thunderstorms could be firing back up because of a trough of instability we have going on close to the foothills. We have upsloping going on with northeasterlies. So all areas marked in yellow here, you do have that severe thunderstorm watch in place. It includes Lethbridge and Calgary. A severe thunderstorm watch through this area. It looks like a good time, actually. Jealous. All right. Areas south of Regina, we're actually watching the heavy downpours, and it's been going on for a pretty long time now this afternoon. So we are concerned about localized flooding through this region, or flash flooding, where you're seeing the yellows. It's your heavier rainfall. Regina, not seeing the heaviest bands of rain, and it is traveling in a northeast direction. Now, we are concerned about Alberta, though. We have severe thunderstorm watches and warnings in place. So I'm going to read you the areas that are under a severe thunderstorm warning right now, meaning it's imminent. It's happening now. Mountain View County near Olds and Sundre, as well as Red Deer County near Penhold, Innisfil, and the Spruce View region. This particular cell that we're watching just north of Olds, right around Olds, actually, that's the one that's capable of producing some pretty severe weather, hail, heavy downpours, damaging winds, and also the lightning, the thunder, right? Lightning kills 10 Canadians each year, so it's damaging. It's dangerous weather. Another thing I wanted to point your attention to is the blue there. You know what that is? I hate to say it, it's snow, but it's through the higher elevations. And I know Alberta, you see all sorts of interesting weather because of the topography. And it's really as a result of the topography that we do have this severe weather happening earlier or later today, I should say. So we do have upsloping going on with northeasterly winds. We also have a trough of instability over the foothills, and that's what's producing that potential for severe thunderstorms later into the day. It does include the city of Calgary, where you saw it was a beautiful day earlier. It's probably a little more overcast right now. But again, temperatures are a little bit lower, so not your typical setup for severe thunderstorms that you would typically see in the summer. If you're in Saskatchewan, areas to the east of Regina and to the north and south, we do have a risk of non-severe thunder showers, and we've been seeing several thunder showers popping up throughout the interior portions of BC. Oh, we do have also, I'm feeling redundant, a severe thunderstorm watch now that just sparked up near Kingston. There's a pretty severe thunderstorm cell that we've been watching moving over the lake, and we'll show you that cell coming up. Also watches Vaston, Ontario.
For your
Another long weekend, another pretty intense storm for some of us. Kasia Bodurka with you here. If you're concerned about active weather in Ontario or Alberta, you came to the right place. To the north of Georgian Bay, here's a line of thunderstorms that's been bringing us some heavy rain showers. We actually got a call on our storm line for areas just west of Sudbury. It's all part and parcel with the same system, by the way. They clocked over 80 millimeters of rain. So we do have a rainfall warning. I'll show you that as well. We also have a severe thunderstorm watch that just sparked up that was issued by Environment Canada for Kingston. Anyone in and around the Kingston area, this storm cell could be producing some pretty severe weather for you in the next hour. So keep it updated, keep it tuned in here. We'll keep you updated on that storm. We'll also keep you updated on this line of thunderstorms making its way over Lake Huron. That could be bringing us some hail, some heavy downpours, some potentially damaging winds in the next few hours as well. For all of these areas marked in yellow, but even southern Ontario and the GTA, you will be seeing those thunder showers. You have a good chance of that through the overnight, though. That's going to be a nocturnal thunderstorm story for you. It may be waking you up. Meanwhile, to the north, I mean, look at all that heavy rain areas in yellow. Those are your heavier downpours. And here's a look at your rainfall warning that we've had in effect for some time. And again, Sudbury is in that. Now, Environment Canada was saying close to 50 millimeters of rain expected for some of these places. But like I mentioned, the storm line caller said it was closer to 80 that they've already picked up, and it continues to rain there. Meanwhile, heavy rain south of Regina and to the east of it as well. We're seeing a little snow through the higher elevations and a pretty severe thunderstorm to the north. All right, we're going to have more about this particular storm cell coming up. Don't go anywhere. We've been watching some severe thunderstorm warnings drop, so that's good news. But one warning still in effect, meaning thunderstorms are happening now. That's for the county of Mountain View near Carstairs and Olds. Kasia Bodurka with you here with a look at your severe weather happening across Alberta and Ontario. We'll get to the Ontario story in just one moment. So one particular cell actually will zoom in a little bit tighter to the north, so it's closer to Olds. This is the cell that's capable of producing hail, very heavy downpours, and strong winds. Seeing some heavy rain also south of Regina, and that's just been going on for some time, but nothing severe in the forecast there. See that blue there? Yeah, that's snow. Yeah, kind of depressing, isn't it? But it is, of course, through the upper atmosphere. And here, a live look at our webcam in Banff, Alberta. So yeah, just some mixed precipitation in the upper atmosphere. But meanwhile, closer to the surface in Banff, it's 13 degrees. Still a little on the coolish side, wouldn't you say? All right, so we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in place. We're starting to see some of them drop, though. But Calgary, you're just on the cusp. You're no longer in it, so that's good news for you. Sundre, you are in it. Lethbridge and areas to the east of that. Basically, what that means is you have the right ingredients in place to see a severe thunderstorm pop up anytime throughout this evening. So we'll keep you updated on that. I mean, we are still seeing a line of thunderstorms to the east of Calgary, but it's nothing, it's not producing anything too severe, so that's good news. Areas marked in yellow in Saskatchewan, you too have a risk of non-severe thunder showers through this evening. And then the interior of BC, we've been seeing a lot of lightning strikes on our radar as well. On radar, we're seeing plenty of rain, heavy downpours to the north of Georgian Bay. A sincere apology to those in cottage country, heavy rain there, but also for Kingston, I wanted to mention this. There is a pretty intense storm that Environment Canada is watching over Lake Ontario, and we're suspecting that it's going to be in your region in the next hour, and that could be producing some hail and heavy downpours and damaging winds. So too is this line of thunderstorms. This is just ahead of that cold front, which, by the way, won't be bringing down our temperatures by a whole lot. I know it was a scorcher of a day for us. Areas here, this is your severe thunderstorm watch, and of course I'm going to have more about this coming up throughout the show. Don't go anywhere. The unofficial end to summer is here with the long weekend. I know, maybe I shouldn't have said that, right? Not all of us are comfortable with that. But the context is that we're seeing very summer-like thunderstorms popping up right now. Kasia Bodurka with you here. We're taking a look at what a cold front is about to do in southern Ontario. Now, we're under the warm sector now. I know it's hot, and we're seeing a lot of rainfall to the north of Georgian Bay. But I wanted to draw your attention to the cell making its way to Kingston, Ontario. You can see it here a little bit better on radar. I'll just get out of the way there. It's pretty severe, and Environment Canada is saying that it could be bringing us some hail, heavy downpours, very strong winds to the Kingston area. And I know we've been getting calls to the storm line from Cornwall, people, concerned about the possibility of storms there. There is that risk there that storm could be making its way to the Cornwall area over the next few hours, but I'd say that would be in a good 3-4 hours. But it's not for sure. It could be fizzling out as well. Now, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch that is in place for much of southern Ontario. It does include cottage country, Muskoka, Barrie as well, Hanover, down through to Grand Bend. You have all the right ingredients in place, and there is a line of severe thunderstorms that's making its way over Huron right now. And we're suspecting over the next 2 hours that's going to be making its way into the province. To the north, heavy, heavy rain, and it's been going for some time, really for much of the day, and some people are calling in saying they've picked up over 80 millimeters of rain just west of Sudbury. Areas in green here, you're all under a rainfall warning, and Environment Canada was forecasting for close to 50 millimeters of rain for some of these places. It's been raining really hard for you south of Regina, southeastern Saskatchewan. I mean, it's been a super soaker of a day, really, but not severe weather. We're not looking at lightning strikes and hail and the heavy, the intense winds. We're seeing that potential instead for you in Alberta. So areas close to Olds. We're watching one severe thunderstorm. There it is, not too far from Sundre. And then areas to the south of Calgary. Calgary, not necessarily under severe thunderstorm watch, but we'll have more about this coming up. Not your ideal long weekend. We're seeing some pretty inclement weather coming through. Well, southern Ontario, northern regions of Ontario with severe thunderstorm watches in place for much of southern Ontario. But right now I want to take your attention to this particular storm cell. If you live in Kingston, Amherst View, Gananoque, the Napanee area, take cover immediately. There is a pretty intense thunderstorm moving over Lake Ontario, and it could be producing some pretty intense weather. Hail, heavy downpours, very strong winds. If you're seeing the really ominous skies coming from the Lake Ontario region, just take cover. This could be potentially damaging, potentially very dangerous weather. This, too, is a line of thunderstorms that we've been watching for some time. Stateside, they actually had tornado warnings because of that cold front. So just a heads up, it's making its way over Lake Huron, and eventually will be bringing us severe thunderstorms throughout southern Ontario as well. Here's a closer look at that storm cell I was telling you about. It's basically arrived for you in Kingston, so do take cover. It won't be long until it passes through your area, so that's why we're saying Gananoque, you're next, and eventually it could be making its way up the 416 as well. So just a heads up, if you're traveling to the nation's capital, we could be seeing that weather as well. Have a look at your severe thunderstorm watch that is in place. It does include the Grey Bruce County all the way down through to Grand Bend, Goderich area, and Cottage Country. Unfortunately, my friends up in Cottage Country, you're seeing the heavy downpours right now as well. The yellows on radar returns, that's representing your heavier rain. And I mean, some people have been seeing huge amounts, 80 millimeters of rain in some places just west of Sudbury, we were told about on our storm line. Everybody else anywhere between 30 and 50 millimeters of rain, hence the rainfall warning that's been in effect. For you in the prairie provinces, it's been a bit of a super soaker for you in southeastern regions of Saskatchewan. This thunderstorm or these rain showers haven't really been moving around much. They haven't been traveling much, but they are traveling in an east-northeast direction. Highway 1, so the Trans-Canada, we're looking at some severe thunderstorms there between Bassano and Brooks. Again, those heavy downpours is what we're watching, potentially damaging winds. And the same thing goes for you in the Olds region. I want you to stay with us. We'll be talking about these severe thunderstorms coming up. If you're close to the Kingston region, you're probably concerned about your weather. There's a line of thunderstorms. Actually, it's one particular cell that we're watching. It's quite potent. Environment Canada has issued severe thunderstorm watches and warnings because of this cell. So I'm going to take you to a closer look right here. So here it is. And then over the lake, I'm going to zoom in just 1 second. There is also a cell that has rotation on it. So it's just a heads up that this could be a potentially potent, dangerous, possibly producing tornadic activity cell. We don't like to say that often, but it's just something that we have to warn you about. There is always that risk with the severe thunderstorms. Now, there's also severe thunderstorms moving over Lake Huron. We're watching those. Those are warned as well. And then to the north of Barrie, some very heavy rain, and we do have rainfall warnings in effect there. A closer look at that cell, though, that we're concerned about. So one over Kingston, I know there are some very heavy downpours right now, very strong winds through this area. But again, another cell in behind it that's moving over the lake where you're seeing the pinks there. That's rotation that's detected on radar. So yeah, some potentially dangerous weather throughout southern Ontario today. A look at your severe thunderstorm watches in place. They've been in effect for much of the day. It's expanded to include the Algonquin area, parts of Peterborough as well, and of course Kingston all the way up to the 416. Now, a look at the rainfall to the north. I mean, it's been pretty intense as well, but that's not necessarily creating severe weather. So there's the silver lining there, but some places have recorded closer to 80 millimeters of rain, hence the rainfall warning that we do have in effect. Meanwhile, we're seeing inclement weather in the west as well. Here's Nadine with that story. That's right. So some people's events, barbecues have been washed out completely. We've been seeing heavy rain north of Georgian Bay. We've been watching also a very potent storm cell move its way over Lake Ontario. I'll show you that making its way into the Kingston region. And then this particular cell here, or this line of thunderstorms, that's your cold front. That's not going to be necessarily bringing down your temperatures for tomorrow, but it will be bringing us those thunderstorms earlier or in the next 3 hours. Closer to the GTA, it's going to be a nocturnal storm situation. Here's a look at your severe thunderstorm watch that's in place for southern Ontario. More on this coming up.